Hello everyone, my name's Jeanette Mcdonald and tonight's all about sharing this wonderful breakthrough, a breakthrough that can change your life. ASEA products have truly impacted my life and completely changed my health outcomes. So I am truly an advocate of the redox products. Before I started with this technology though, I was looking for something that would repair my cells. After I'd experienced a life-changing health condition with rogue cells and then the resulting challenges in the aftermath of chemical treatment. I continued to use these products daily and I will continue to do so probably for the rest of my life. They've ensured a very different outcome for me, and I know that it is my future really of continued good health and well-being. So that's just a little bit about me. But tonight we have a special guest, Christine, with us, and she will share her redox experience with us later on in the evening. But let me do my normal introduction to this call. Tonight we're here, and I invite you just to consider these questions before we start. Do you have a health challenge, or perhaps you know of someone with a health challenge that needs help? They're all around me, everywhere. I know people all over the place with health challenges, especially those people who are over the age of 40. Would you like to reduce the visible signs of aging? A lot of women are vain and men are too. So there's a lot of people in that category. Do you want more energy to do what you love? I'd say most of us do. Are you looking for improved athletic or physical performance? Well, I'm not looking so much for the physical performance in terms of being an athlete, but I sure would like a bit more of that endurance when I'm walking and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. And maybe you want time or money freedom for a better lifestyle. And many of us, as we move past the age of 40, we start to consider those things. So to really live well, we all need two basic things: a body that can do whatever we ask of it, and enough money to have freedom to make these choices. To have that body or well-being you want, you might be exercising, you might have changed or modified your diet, you might be taking nutritionals, you might be doing everything you can think of, or you might not be doing anything at all. That surprises me, but lots of people are not doing anything at all. They don't even think about it. They just settle for it. Frustratingly though, no matter what you do, as you age, your cells respond less and less efficiently, less effectively to all these strategies, and your cells naturally begin to break down, producing less energy, taking longer to repair, and sometimes not even repairing at all. What if your cells could be just that bit more efficient? Your exercise, nutrition, your supplementation, everything else could be more effective. You could be healthier, longer, with less effort. How would that be? How would that feel? I'm sure that would feel completely different to perhaps what you might have been experiencing. Several years ago, scientists made a groundbreaking discovery. They identified molecules your body produces inside every cell that helps them repair and regenerate. Once discovered, years of research and development went into figuring out how to stabilise these molecules outside of the body so that they could be used to top up your own redox levels, which deplete through the decades. The result is a molecular technology that helps your cells to function better. And when your cells function better, everything else works better. So any steps you're taking to improve your health becomes more effective. Nutritional supplementation works better, you feel better, you look better, you sleep better, you have more energy, and life becomes completely different. So tonight I've got a special guest here, and I'd like you to be introduced to Christine in a moment. Christine's going to tell a little bit about her story, and I'm, of course, going to interview her with this. You may have heard in the intro that Christine's had some health challenges of her own, thyroid-related health challenges and hormonal-related health challenges. They seem to go hand in hand. And she's a young woman who has 2 children and is a yoga teacher, and she's got a mojo back. So let me just change this to the speaker view tonight so that we can see Christine more clearly. Okie doke, back to the normal view. I think it doesn't seem to be doing its trick tonight. Hang on a moment.
Yep, just do it.
No,
Back to gallery view.
I think we're going back to the gallery view. Doesn't seem to be working, but we'll carry on regardless, Christine. So if you would just unmute yourself, Christine.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to be here with such a wonderful group of people. So I feel very humbled to come on tonight and share my experience with the molecules.
Great, thank you very much. So let's begin tonight with just a little bit about your story. Of course, I know some of your story and I'm here to interview you for that purpose. But I want you just to tell us a little bit about how was your life prior to starting on the redox products. Just go back before you started more than a year ago and just give us a quick rundown. Just start where you are. And I think you were telling me first of all about brain fog and things like that. So give us a rundown on that.
Yeah, sure. I guess I've always been slightly on the more anxious side, a bit of agitation, and those stress levels through my parenting journey kind of seemed to go through the roof. Small things I would find very challenging to do. Going shopping with the kids would be very stressful. I had some bloating, digestive issues. So brain fog, just having that clarity of mind and having, as I said, those high stress levels were probably paramount to where I was at.
And I know that you had some other physical issues at the time as well. So that was about mental clarity and just how you were coping really is what you've just spoken about. But tell us a little bit else about what was happening with your body.
Yeah, sure. So about 2 years ago, I noticed when I'd teach my yoga, my knees were becoming very painful. So it felt like I was kneeling on broken glass during the class, which was obviously not, it was not a fun place to be in. My joints were becoming painful. I had the rheumatoid arthritis test, which was negative, but that's how much my knuckles were in pain. I had swelling my joints. I was considering getting my wedding rings resized. So that's, I was seeing obviously a lot of inflammation in my body.
And what about on your skin itself?
So I think, I was having a lot of itching. My scalp was constantly itching. If I'd get my hair cut, I'd have to go home and wash my hair straight away. Otherwise I'd get hives all down my neck. And that was every time, I got my hair cut. That was trying lots of different shampoos. It was just an issue that was just always there in the background, and itchy patches would come and go on my skin. They would flare up, probably to do with my mental agitation as well.
And I know that you'd had an old injury as well that you're experiencing a flare-up with at the same time. So you've got a lot going on. Just tell us a little bit about the injury that caused you enough discomfort to go, I need to seek out more assistance here. Yeah,
sure. So I went mountain bike riding for the first time on a bike that wasn't suited exactly to my body type, what I needed. And I had a coccyx injury. So it became painful for me to sit completely flat down on a chair. So I was trying to do all my own, stretching and doing as much of my own healing work that I could do with that. And I was I was being quite stubborn in not going to get help for it. So because I couldn't sit flat on the the wooden kitchen chairs to eat around the table. We all started kneeling around. We had a low table, so we'd all sit to eat our dinner around the low table. But then my knees were getting so sore, sitting on the floor, no matter how I'd sit, it was just becoming, very difficult to either be flat on the seat or kneeling. So it was, again, a constant unpleasant thing that was going on in my body.
So what did the X-ray reveal? Did it reveal?
There was nothing that they could find when I did eventually seek help for that.
So what happened then? So you had that X-ray. It said there was nothing wrong there, but obviously you were still really unwell without knowing what to do next. So I think you went to the next stage and got a diagnosis.
Yeah, that's right. I went to the GP originally to get the X-ray for my coccyx, and she decided to do a full panel of bloods, which came back that I did have an imbalance in the workings of my thyroid.
Mm-hmm.
So with an autoimmune component, so my body was attacking my own tissues.
And obviously there was high levels of inflammation in your system.
Yes, yeah.
So then, in the lead up to this diagnosis and everything, what did you decide to try? Like, what was the first port of call after that diagnosis? What was your next leap off?
Yeah, sure. So I signed up with a naturopath. So I was seeing her at a quite an expensive rate. I was getting a lot of herbs and supplements, and it was probably around $350 a fortnight for my supplements with her, plus the fees ongoing for that consultation.
Yes, and you were doing some things yourself, weren't you? You already had a pretty good diet, but you were fermenting food, you were eliminating sugar, you were doing all sorts of things. Yeah,
well, the funny thing, like, I've always kind of eaten that way, so it was even more of a shock when this happened, because I thought I was, probably ate better than most people, and was doing all the right things, and that I felt very out of control of my health and my body, and I felt really sad. Yeah, so it was a really bad place for you to be in, wasn't it? Because, and probably in a pretty low place, was it, Christine? Yeah, definitely. I felt like I couldn't really trust my body anymore. I was paying lots of money for care that I wasn't seeing a lot of results in either.
And then what happened next then? So you were getting nowhere fast, and you still weren't improved physically, and you were still feeling like, what's going on here? So you were led obviously to the redox product. So just tell us a little bit about probably just how you were led there. Why did you start using them? Yeah, sure. So I, by chance, but there's no chance, no random coincidence, I went to see a chiropractor, never seen a chiropractor before, and she started doing some sessions on my tailbone, and at the same time I confided that I was struggling with this thyroid challenge, and she suggested to use the gel, which she was selling through the clinic. She suggested using the gel on my thyroid to help assist with that from externally, and which I did. I bought some tubes from her, and then she also mentioned that she thinks it'd be better for me also to be having the liquid internally, so I started heavily researching the products from there. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing, you started on them. So you're obviously using the gel first. What did you notice using that gel in that tailbone area? What was your first experience with the gel? Yeah, so I didn't get I wasn't using the gel for my coccyx originally. I was just using it for the thyroid. So then I did start on the liquid, and that high level of agitation that I'd been feeling, and also a bit of that, definitely an ongoing sense of that agitation, within about 2 days of me starting on the liquid,
I felt this deep sense of calm that I just can't remember feeling before. It felt like my whole body slowed down, and I was able to just, I felt peaceful. I felt a deep level of peace, which was profound. It was a profound change within my body and within my spirit.
And so what happened then? Like you this is an experience you obviously weren't expecting to have in 2 days.
No. Yeah, so I just, the itchy skin issue that I was having, which I'd had some relief with the gel, that cleared up within a week completely from adding the liquid in. So I've been using the gel on those itchy patches with some relief, but they hadn't quite gone. So
And I believe, to start with, Christine, you were on 2 lots of 60 mils a day. So you're on 2 cups, you're on the maintenance dose.
Yes, yeah. And then I added a third and fourth cup in quite soon over those next few weeks of starting. So probably by the month I was taking 3 to 4 cups.
And so what was the noticeable difference or benefit by increasing your dosage?
Just the increased peace, I guess, I was just feeling more in control, more powerful. And this is at the same time that my levels were still unbalanced. So that's, even though I was having monthly blood tests, and that was still working to be optimized. But yes, I was getting a result with the liquid. And in the first week that I started on the liquid, I had my hair cut. And I didn't have to rush home and wash my hair. I didn't have any itching in my scalp. So that I'd had that itchy scalp condition for about 10 years. And that was amazing for me. I know that's quite a small thing, but it was a persistent irritation in my body.
And it had been ongoing for a number of years. So you had got used to that being your norm.
Yes,
and suddenly you had a new normal taking place.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So tell me, how long would you say it took for you to notice yourself that, you know, the discomfort was starting to move off?
Yeah, so probably maybe 2 to 3 months, I noticed getting up and down. My joints weren't hurting. My joints weren't hurting to teach in yoga. I used to have to have a blanket or a cushion under my knees, and I wasn't needing that anymore. The treatment I was getting for my coccyx, that was relieving the coccyx, but I think it was to do with, you know, releasing all the inflammation with the using the SPM as well. So it took about 6 weeks for the coccyx pain to resolve, and then through this hot summer period we've just been having, when my knuckles would usually swell and have that issue with my rings being tight, that didn't happen this summer. So I've been on the fields for a year now, so seeing bigger, longer lasting changes. Yeah.
So tell us when there was a difference with your blood work.
So
how far along would you say?
So I was having monthly blood tests. I've been having monthly blood tests. They've spread out a bit as my numbers have balanced a bit. So the antibodies, which are aside from they don't really get affected by the medication. So that's something that the doctors don't have any control over is the antibodies. That's to do with the inflammation in the body. They just continue to come down and down and down until they're, so right now they're just above being able to be detected in my blood. So
that in itself is amazing, is it not?
Yes, it's showing the body is healing and working better, and that's something that the medication, the pharmaceutical medication that I'm on, isn't targeting.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that that's the first time in how many years? How long do you think it would be that you felt this good?
I just don't ever remember feeling this peace for probably my whole life. I think I've always had this agitation and this periods of mania, and I thought I was just excitable and full of beans and lots of fun, exciting stuff to do. But I think that was actually I was actually feeling overstimulated instead of being calm and having probably a choice about my behaviour as much as I do now. So feeling more in control of myself, more in control of my emotions, seeing changes with my family life, and seeing changes with how I'm parenting, because I'm just not constantly in that stress mode.
So I think you were telling me when we were talking about this again yesterday that you often found yourself in that fight and flight mode.
Yeah,
and it feels like that's been turned off, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It feels like I've actually been able to slow down and kind of enjoy this parenting journey more. I know it's still tough, but I was quite snappy with the children, and just didn't have a lot of time for them. They'd, "Oh, mummy, come and play," and I'd make some excuse because I was feeling stressed, and I wouldn't be able to sit and relax and play this nice game because I'd be thinking about all the list of jobs to do, even though the jobs wouldn't necessarily get done, but it was just that level of stress that was always there. So yeah, it's a lot more saying yes now, and
Yes.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit, when you were just talking about your family and parenting, one of the things you told me was just a wee small story about your little fellow, Jude. Now, how old's Jude?
So 6.5.
That's right. He's 6.5, and he's a little bit of a live wire. He's a really curious, lovely little boy. And just tell me about your change with him. Just tell me that little bit of a story where you realised I am reacting differently to Jude now.
Yeah, sure. So we'd had the busy dinner afternoon scenario that goes on, and it was teeth cleaning time, and instead of cleaning his teeth, he was running around the house and mummy, look how fast I can run to this door and that door. And I knew in that moment, previously I would have said, I'll just float on the handle, or go and clean your teeth, that kind of thing. But I knelt down and I opened my arms wide and I said, show me how fast you can run into my arms. And it was an isolated incident that hadn't happened before, and it stands out in my memory because it was so unique to how my journey had gone up until then, as far as parenting and being at peace with those small moments and being able to enjoy those small moments.
So that was a beautiful aha moment for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then tell me about your daughter Isla. Like, how old's she?
So she's 9.5 now.
So just tell me the story you were relaying to me about this new awareness that you had around Isla.
Yeah. So it was only earlier this year. It was only, I think, in about February. We were in the car before swimming lessons, and she crawled into the front of the car, ready to go for swimming lessons. And the light was just coming through beautifully through the glass. And I looked into her eyes, and I actually said, "Isla, you've got green eyes." And I don't think, if you'd have asked me what colour her eyes were before, I don't think I could have told you, because I just felt like when you're running from the tiger, when you're in that fight or flight, there's no time to stop and smell the roses, or to stop and enjoy those small moments. And I just don't think I'd ever stopped and just been present in the moment and had that sweet moment of just being aware of her little life and my little life. It was just all that go, push, that internal agitation of spirit. Yeah,
and I think that agitation leads to distress, doesn't it? Being in a constant state of distress. And it sounds like to me, just from our conversation, that the redox has not only improved the your physical issues, but it's also improved on that emotional and mental clarity level.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So I think this is really a story also about that holistic space that we can move into. Go. Oh, not only is my life improving in one area, but now that it's improved there, it's having a cascading effect in other areas of my life.
Yes, yeah.
And you are certainly testament to that. So I just was thinking Christine, you also told me about your nails, like just another observable or visible
Yes.
sign that you were getting better.
Yeah, sure. So I've always had very weak, flaking nails. Haven't been able to grow my nails long, and the nails are nice and long and strong. Now I had to actually do a bit of thinking how to file them properly because I've just never been able to have long nails. And also I've always had white flecks in the nails, which Dr. Google will have you believe that it's an imbalance of something or other, and all those flecks have gone now, and that's prior to adding in any other nutritionals or anything like that. So I just feel like my body has just come into balance, and my emotions have come into balance, and it's a really rich and beautiful time I'm finding myself in.
Lovely. And just, with the constant improved blood tests,
Yeah.
what sort of response has your medical team come back to you with?
When I started initially adding the pharmaceuticals in, my blood balanced quite quickly, which my GP did say, oh, that is quite a fast balancing. So even though it was a balancing act that needed to be maintained, she was of the opinion that it had balanced quicker than usual, in her opinion. Yeah.
Okay, great. And is she aware of your usage of the redox products?
No.
Okay. So tell me then, in more recent times, you've added in, a couple of months ago, you've added in some of the ASEA Via nutritionals. Now, I know that you're taking two things, the Source, well, just tell us about the Source first and then the Life Max. So the Source first.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I always had issues with my digestion despite, trying my best with the diet. I tried a lot of different things. My bowels were usually on the sluggish side. So when I added in the Source, that was the first thing I noticed, that all sorted itself out very easily and very, very beautifully. So that was a great relief, because that was obviously something that, yes, was an ongoing issue for me.
And then what about with the addition now of the Life Max? Because the Life Max has been, it's the Mojo one for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, so I started, I think I'm on my second bottle of the Life Max. I take 4 at breakfast time, and I just find there's no dip of an evening, when it's usually that, busy bath, making dinner, making lunches for the next day, all that kind of rush. Previously I'd have to, just pause for a minute and lean on the counter and just feel quite flat, or maybe, look on my phone a bit instead of doing the jobs, because I was just feeling, kind of burnt out or tired, and I just kind of power through. There's no dip. So feeling, my husband was away all last week, and I just had everything done, and I just felt so in control, and that's definitely since the Life Max.
Wonderful. So you take the 4 capsules all at once in the morning rather than split them up.
Yeah.
Great. That's great for someone to actually know about, isn't it?
And I was slightly worried that because of my agitation issues, that may have been too stimulating for me initially before I started taking them. But I don't feel any of that caffeine kind of hit that I was expecting. It's just a very easy, smooth. My brain feels switched on. Really, really lovely clarity.
Good. So probably the final thing I'd say, just in wrapping up this interview, Christine, you've answered so many questions and told us some wonderful things about the changes you've had since using this technology. But probably the thing that I'd ask you now, 12 months on the products, how do you feel about your life now?
Yeah, I feel, I just feel so at peace and empowered. I feel no matter what would happen, I would have this amazing technology to support me. My skin is feeling beautiful. I use the Renew on my face, having less hormonal issues with other areas of my body. I just feel just confident. I feel empowered, and it's that peace and that settled feeling, which is priceless. I couldn't put a price on how my life has changed and how good I feel.
And probably the only thing that I can add to that is that things will only get better and better. Now that you've got your mojo back, your life is right here in front of you now, isn't it? And it's already gone ahead in leaps and bounds, but it'll be fascinating to see where it goes in another 12 months. And we'll probably have another interview then and just see 6 months on or something and just see where things are at then.
Yeah, awesome. I'll look forward to it.
Thank you so much for offering yourself up for an interview. It's not always an easy thing to do, but it's just been wonderful interviewing you tonight. So I'll just ask you if you might just mute yourself again, and I'll finish off the call while it's still recording, and I'll do the last part of the call. Thanks, Christine.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeanette.
So at this time, it's important to acknowledge that ASEA products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition. They simply empower cellular communication and hence cellular function. So thank you, Christine, for being our wonderful guest tonight. So articulate and with such an amazing change herself. It's been wonderful. You've got lots of really tremendous comments here, Christine, but I think I'll, things like thank you, beautiful interview, thanks for sharing, great overall holistic life-changing story for you and your family, Christine, well done. Awesome share. Thanks so much for being vulnerable and sharing your journey with us. All of those, there's plenty of them there, and I'll just save that chat for you for later on. Okay? So I'll just turn the recording off, everyone, and I'd just like to say good night, and there'll be another Redox talk same time next week, 7:30 next week, and the guest and host are still to be advised.